Bring it back.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Car Mechanic Simulator. This week we're restoring the good old American Crown Vic Police Interceptor, which for some reason is on Turkish plates. But as before with the Porsche, I've made a good start. I've taken off all the suspension and underside components, because that's pretty dull to watch, sorted out the bodywork and got the engine out. But I have not done anything to repair this big old American block V8. So, first things first, let's sort this engine out. So, coil covers, let's take the coils out. So first off, we're just going to dismantle it down. We can take all what parts we can to the repair table, get everything repaired up, put it back together, drop it back into the police car. Then we're going to take it into the spray booth. Hopefully, as far as I'm aware, it should have a proper police sort of livery pattern, so that could be quite exciting. And then we should have a fully operational Crown Vic, which I think is pretty awesome. This is a mod for the game, it's not a DLC, so there could be, it might not be perfect, there might be a few faults with the car, it might not be sort of fully realistic to what it should be. Sort of not really a lot I can do about that. It's just at least there's a model of it, so it's better than nothing. Wow, this is a very complicated timing belt. Well, it's not even the timing belt, it's the auxiliary belts. Water pump pulley, take that off. Taking the belt tension off might be a good idea. Take that belt off. Okay. It's just taking all the idle rollers off basically. I'll have to buy all these new. I have got all the sort of suspension parts repaired and sorted, ready to go back on, so that once we've got the engine back in we can just put them on rather than having to sit through watching me spend half an hour to buy them all from the shop. So I thought I'd best get that done before we started. Wow, this is the strangest setup. Right, so let's take the cam gears off. And that should allow me to take the cams out for each one. So obviously the Crown Victoria has been the American police car for a long time, I think. It's got a pretty solid, pretty awful suspension setup as far as I'm aware. But I think it works quite well because it's such a solid car, so they can just batter them around and ram into fleeing suspects and things. Unfortunately, the mod's not got anything like light bars and bull rails and things like that, which would be quite cool to have. But I guess that's something that will be coming going forwards. Particularly as I know the developers have said that they are planning to introduce like car mods into the game, so performance parts and things like that, so you can just upgrade normal cars, produce more power and that sort of thing. So when that sort of thing comes around, I would expect to be able to add accessories on in mods as well a lot more, so give a lot more options and that sort of thing. So just taking the clutch out and the flywheel. So what have I got left? A floating fuel filter as always. Let's take the oil pan off underneath, and then we'll just turn this engine around. Rotate once more. And then underneath, let's take all the rod caps off. This will allow me to take the pistons out. Rod cap. More rod caps. Okay, I should now be able to take each piston out. Yep. Let's pull these out. So I've took the flywheel out. Oh, I've got to take the the things retaining the crankshaft in, and then the crankshaft should just come straight out. It's quite an easy engine dismantle. I mean, that is the beautiful thing about these big American V8s. They're just such simple engines, and that is it. There's literally nothing to them. So let's get over to the repair bench. Start smashing out these parts. Try and get everything repaired. There's not a lot to do other than just to sit through this. I'm spamming my finger as quickly as physically possible. I'm going so fast it's even lagging a little bit. In terms of the channel, I think things are going quite well. We're up to 19 subscribers as of this video, which I'm really pleased with now. Seems to be growing quite quickly. So, I mean, if you're watching this and enjoy it, please subscribe to the channel. It really does help, and I really do appreciate it. But with that said, let's get this engine back together. So, we'll drop the crankshaft in and retain that. Put these in. Now, if I remember correctly, the pistons aren't something that can be repaired, so I think we're going to have to buy them. I'll just check. Yeah, so we need... Oops. What's going on here? There we go. So we're going to need 8 pistons. Eight of them and 8 piston rings. I'm just thinking of other things while I'm here. Might as well get 8 spark plugs. Ignition. Wow, ignition coil. 8 of them as well. There'll be other things that haven't been repairable, but I can never remember what they are. I know I'm sticking the pistons in the wrong way round. I apologise for that. But I'm just being lazy, and the game lets me get away with it, so I'm not going to complain. So if we drop these back in, and then I'll stick all the rod caps back on to hold them in place. Hopefully these should have repaired. Yes. So let's just bolt all 8 of these back on to the bottom of the pistons. It's already looking a lot better. Nice, clean new engine, good condition. Go get these bottled on. One more to go. And it's in. Okay. So drop the oil pan back on the bottom. And let's flip it back round to being vertical. So what have we got to bolt on? Power steering pump, that can go on there. Then we've got both engine heads. So both of these have all been fully repaired on the repair bench, which is good. Saves us having to buy them. Obviously the good old floating fuel filter, as is every episode. So I'm going to drop the camshafts back in now, and then I'll probably look at all the timing gear. Drop over this side. So this is going to be the bit where I've not got everything. So I need 4 cam gears. Pretty sure it didn't specify any specific type. Now I know there was an idle 7. Loads of idle rollers, so we'll just, since these are cheap, we'll just buy a handful of these to preempt that as a problem. So let's get these cam gears back on. I didn't get any new timing belts, I've forgotten that one already. Don't want timing belt V8. Timing belt V8, we want 2 of them for each side. So let's drop that one on there, and then the other one should be available. Yep. And then the cover should drop back on, which I'm hoping has been repaired. It has, wonderful. So let's get this bolted back on. Right, and then we've got 1,000 different random idle rollers. for all the different auxiliary belts. Has the water pump been repaired? Yes, it has. Wonderful. Even better. Another idle roller. Another idle roller. Alternator hopefully has been repaired. It has. Brilliant. We're doing quite lucky on the repair bench so far. Put a new fuel filter back on. So crankshaft pulley and water pump pulley. Crankshaft pulley V8 and water pump pulley. There we go. $15. That's cheap. So stop the crankshaft pulley back on. Water pump pulley. Oh, I forgot. That's what I forgot. I forgot to buy all these serpentine belts. So that's belt B V8. What options? Serpentine belts. I'm going to get an A V8 because I fear that we may just need one of them anyway. So, oh no, I don't want a supercharger. Serpentine. Oh, there it is. Went blind for a moment there, couldn't see it. Drop that on. And oh, the genius I am preempted that problem. But the genius did not remember that I need a belt tensioner. You would think one day I would learn to remember to get all these things, but it appears not. So, bolt the belt tensioner back on. Oh, another idle roller over there I missed. Then let's look back. I'll put the heads on. We'll put the intake manifold on first. 2 fuel rails. Yeah, they're both good. Clip on. Then let's get the engine heads. There's nothing retaining the camshafts on this engine, which is kind of strange. But no worries. So let's bolt this on, and then let's get the spark plugs and the ignition coils back in. Oops, one little bolt in the corner I missed. So let's put, we've got a set of new spark plugs. Drop them in, and then the ignition coil. And then the coil cover. Do the same on the other side. Spark plugs first. And the ignition coils. And then the cover should drop back on. Like so. Awesome. So we've got an exhaust manifold on the side, both of which are fully repaired, which is excellent. That's what we like to see. Anything that saves me having to go to the shop is always a win. And then we're just going to have the clutch to do, which I've not brought anything for. I'm not sure any of the clutch parts. Oh, throttle. Throttle body is kind of an important part of the car. Yeah. Okay, so we want flywheel and all the clutch parts. Okay, back on, round on this side. Flywheel, clutch plate, pressure pad. All that on, and then the release bearing should just sit on top like that. Okay, so assuming I haven't missed anything, which is quite a bit of an assumption because it's me, that should all be back to fully normal. So take the engine off the crane, go to the crane and install our brand new V8 into our Crown Vic. Excellent. Now you get lost. So look at that, looking good. So we've just got a few auxiliary engine parts, the ABS pump and the module. That's it. Put those two back together so they don't lock up and skid off on corners. Brake servo assist, a useful addition, as is a battery. It should just be the radiator at the front. fan, and then the air filter. It's going to have a million stupid little clips it's going to make me put on. Yep. That's such a strange why they included the clips. I'm not sure why. I know they're trying to be detailed with this game, but I think this probably just comes into being annoying. Having to put 4 individual tiny little clips onto it is not really what one wants to do. Okay, so let's close that. Jack this car up. Let's have a look underneath. I think this is what you slightly get with the mod, is things like this where the jacking point just doesn't quite tie into the actual base of the car. So what have we got to do? Suspension crossmember first. Oh, actually, let's connect up the exhaust and the gearbox. Put our new gearbox on, and then there should just be a starter motor. This side. Excellent. Inner tie rod. So now it's just a case of basically reassembling the suspension components, which I've forgotten to get some rubber bushings for. Oops. Oh, what am I doing? Didn't go very well. Rubber bushings. Just get absolutely loads of these, since I always use loads of them and I always run out. Not so much on the small ones. So let's get the suspension back together. We are still going to have to build the wishbone, the spring, shock absorber, that's the word, since I have not yet prepared that, and I haven't sorted out the wheels either, so we're going to have to build them as well. So there's the front knuckle. Disc, pad, caliper. Should just be a bearing. Yep. Maybe a cap. Yeah. There we go. So double wishbone shock absorbers. Let's go and have a look at what we need for them. We go over to the spring puller. And 2 front springs. Should be everything we need, hopefully. Okay, so use the spring puller to join the parts together. Take that one out, put another one in. Set that one off building as well. There we go, take parts. So now this should just drop in here. Like so, which it does. Brilliant. Throw my end link on. So let's hop over to this side of the car. Put the tie rod up to connect it to the steering rack. Then we've got the suspension arms, which will contain both sides of the spring. Like so. And then put the shock in. Rubber bushings back in on there. Did I remember to put them on this side? No, I did not. A classic silly mistake, that is. Often I get to the end of these builds and then the car ends up telling me that I forgot to include a rubber bushing somewhere, and then I have to go back and try and find it, which is never particularly fun. So front wheel hub. Vented brake disc. So it's just a case of pads, caliper. What am I missing? Oh, wheel hub cap. Okay, so let's jump back down to the back of the car. Oh, we've got the exhaust going down the middle. The double exhaust. the fuel tank and pump in while we're here. So we've got the Knuckle housing. So yeah, because he uses the old style police interceptors, we've still got the old leaf springs on, which is probably why they're handled just so utterly dreadfully. Oops, put the bolt in. Just build up the rear hub. The drive axle in. And then they've still got drums on the back as well, which is not really aiding the case for a high performance vehicle. I still think, despite all that, I still think they're absolutely awesome cars. I'd absolutely love one, but alas, I cannot get them in the UK. So, let's do the same on the other side. I'll put the spring in first, since I've got to get to the plate and the bolts. Oops. That's the problem with this game. It's very easy to misclick and suddenly you're shooting off to a different part of the car you don't really want to go to. Get the bushings in while I remember, so I don't give myself too many problems. That's something I hadn't thought about, the drive shaft. That certainly wants to go in. Otherwise this car will not be going anywhere. Just noticed another little bug, look, little sort of glitch there on the drive shaft. Not quite showing up properly. But that's sort of the price you pay for mods, and it still largely works fine and it doesn't really matter. So, let's put the shoes back on. Brake drum. And then that's pretty much everything apart from the wheels then. Unless I'm missing anything, which I probably am. So let's go to tyre. And let's have a look what wheels we should be fitting. So rim basics 2, 16-inch no offset. So let's go to the rim shop. 16-inch no offset, 4 of them. Excellent. I want to dismantle a standard tyre. So I want a standard tyre 215 by 60. Standard tyre 215 by 60. Does anyone else have a problem remembering these? I always do. Standard tyre 215 by 60 and 16-inch rims, and I want 4. I just find that really hard to remember. So let's get these tyres on, get them balanced, and then get them on the car. Then we can hop the car over to the paint shop and get it sorted out. So let's get this on the balancer. Yes, I do want to balance. No, I don't want to separate. I want to install another tyre. This part of the game is something that could certainly use is speeding up slightly. Once you've fitted a few tyres, it soon gets old having to take them on and off. Particularly on this bloody wheel balancer, because it takes absolutely ages. Oops. That's one to install, but I've still only balanced one. That's what I mean about them being so much slower to get going. Take that one off there. Okay, so we'll get those 4 on, get into the shop. Hopefully we can do it in police colours, because that'll be pretty cool. Take that one off there. One more to go. And let's get that one balanced and then get them on the car. Hopefully you're enjoying these car mechanic videos. I'm quite enjoying making these ones. It's strangely satisfying to take a sort of rusty car you get at auction or the junkyard and then just take it right the way back up to being absolutely brand new and perfect. I do really enjoy doing it. So hopefully if you're enjoying these videos, that's good, because I'm enjoying making them, so it makes it all the better. So, get the tyres back on. Hopefully I haven't missed any major components, although I haven't remembered to put any oil in the engine yet, which I should have done at the start. It's always a classic one to forget. So let's lower this back down. Oops, crushed by the car. There it is. Glug 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 glug. Okay, close the bonnet and let's get this to the paint shop. And let's see how she turns out. Okay, that is pretty goddamn awesome, I have to say. Well, there's nothing to do other than that. It's just perfect, isn't it? That, oh my god, I love it. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this video, guys. I've really enjoyed doing this Crown Vic, now fully operational police car, complete interior, fully restored. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel, it really helps. Give the video a like, comment on what you want to see done next car wise. Thanks for watching, guys. See you on the next one.